News and talk. Very fact we gave a talk at Chautauqua in
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad. Hare Krishna.
Evil.
I think we are.
Just over here left.
Yeah.
I think we can. Hare Krishna. So can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you. So
Can you hear?
Yes,
All right,
Prabhuji,
very good.
we can hear you. Yeah.
You can try some.
Yes. So thank you, Prabhuji, very much for coming in spite of your busy schedule. You made the arrangement to give us at least some time. It's our great fortune. I think it's a success of our center, at least to get to hear you in this assembly. It is our great fortune. I think I remember seeing you in Nashville, Tennessee, in God. His name is God Nithai Prabhu. And right now, it's my great fortune to be with you again. Kalkana Prabhu is our greatest fortune, as he is also president of Krishna House in Florida. What's the name of the place?
Gainesville.
Gainesville, Florida. And he's traveling widely, and he's also initiating spiritual master. And it is our great fortune. Is I think Prabhuji, please introduce yourself much more. I have very less understanding, but whatever I could, I think is this above is only his divine grace, and it's hopefully in one day, if we do something right here, maybe we can get his association. Right now in Vani and maybe in future in Bhakti, in person. Thank you very much, and we are hoping to get purified here. And this class is recorded, and many more who couldn't join us today can actually see us also later. Thank you, Prabhuji, and we'd like to welcome Kalkana Prabhu by loudly chanting.
Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. It's very nice to be with you today. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, just we are raising a little bit of volume. Just yes, we can hear you. Can you all hear? Yes, everyone can. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, we can't hear you, Prabhu. We can't hear you. Krishna. We can't hear you, Prabhu. Oh, it's coming back again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna.
It seems, unfortunately, the connection is very unsteady.
Oh, okay.
Bhagavad Gita, and you could
Oh,
read chapter 2, verse 7, and then I'll come video. Is that okay?
yeah, that's fine. Any little nectar we get, we are fortunate.
Prabhuji, I'm so sorry. I'm traveling, and the connection just does not seem to be able to support the link.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe don't you don't have to drive and do this. I know you don't have to. I know if you can be if you feel safe.
All right. Yes, that is next week. Perhaps next week I can do. We'll try next week. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, probably. Okay.
All right.
No
All right.
problem.
I'm afraid it'd be unsteady. My apologies. I look forward to it then.
No problem. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I think it's best that he tries properly. His life is more important than his last. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining in. What's her name? Abby. Hare Krishna, Abby. So we'd like to sing for a couple of minutes and then we'd like to speak about dynamics, which is going to make you feel very happy and joyful as well as connected. How you could be best connected in today's situation in 2021. So, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So we must have done a good kirtan because as soon as we started kirtan, suddenly from the spiritual world, two great personalities have arrived. Listening the Kanta and Madhukam together after a long time, it's like a wow. There's a sight you want to see before you die. So you can have nice kirtan. So how many of you felt nice having kirtan? Yes. Especially I think when we remember this is the last kirtan, in the last minute we have to sing, it was intense, I think. So if we actually understand that, if we actually understand that we are here temporarily, we don't have much time left. If there is a fire around in your house, would you actually go and try to search on the internet which fire brigade costs less? And Google search, and there's a fire around. What do? You will probably do Google search. No, you just get out because there's a fire. You won't take time in doing Google search, right? Because there's fire everywhere around you. So the material condition is very precarious. It is stated, Sansara Davan Nalali. When we sing, when we get up, we sing this prayer, Sansara Davan Nalali Daluka. Ranaya Karuna. So this material world is considered to be a forest fire. Have you been to forest fire anywhere? Better not. Just when you go home, Google it. What is it to be in a forest fire? You have no chance. If you are surrounded in forest fire, the helicopters, what they throw on the top, the whole tank, it's like a one drop. The whole tank of helicopter. It's just nothing compared to the heat and the fire around you. Now, why did acharyas have described this material world as a forest fire? Are they trying to scare us or something? Oh, this is material. Oh, do you see a fire around? No, we don't see. Then how do we actually understand that this material world is a Davagni? Anybody has any thoughts about it? How do you actually understand this material world is a forest fire? Well, we have good time, nice AC is going, have good time. A nice backyard, people are playing poker or whatever, or having whatever things they are doing, having good time, going on beaches and having, but why does it call as forest fire? Are they wrong? Are they wrong? Do you think they're wrong? No, they're not wrong. Then why? We don't feel forest fire.
Is it because everything is temporary?
Everything is you're coming close, yes.
In the forest fire, you're like trapped. You can't get out.
Yes, trapped, you can't get out. But we don't feel trapped. We feel, yes, just got to dance party. Why? Actually, when you come in association, you do feel freedom. Actually, that's true. It is stated because the soul's condition, when you try to enjoy in the material world, the soul's condition, it's like that. When the body, we may not think, oh, I'm having good time. The body, mind, and intelligence may feel great, but the soul is that. So the soul is part of Krishna. Everyone has the spirit soul. It's made up of 3 elements: eternal, full of knowledge, and bliss. The soul, when it is trapped, my cousin, he was in Merchant Navy. This is very nice. So he was telling, when he was there, now he's flying for someone. He's a pilot now. But while he was in Merchant Navy, he was telling that when I was in a ship, there were some mechanics. They used to go under the hoods, and then and somebody, if they close the door, they're gone forever. So sometimes they used to open the lid, and they used to see the hand desperately closed, and the person died inside. If they close the shutter, the whole thing, they die. And they're so much in desperate condition because there's nobody to help. So similarly, this material, see, we are actually feeling the pain when the child, as a child, when you're born, you actually feel the pain of this world. You do not realize it, but the child does feel the pain. And when he comes out, he's only desperately calling, hey Krishna, hey Govinda, please. Actually, just once before he comes out, just once, let me just come out. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. In this lake of this mother's womb, I've just once, let me come out. Actually, once if I come out, I will never forget you. I will always remember you all throughout life. I'll never, just once. And as soon as yes, he's actually confirming. Yes. Once I come out, I will become your devotee, and all the time I will chant the holy name. He realizes 100 lifetimes of suffering, he realizes, and thus after realizing all that suffering, still the illusory energy is so strong that it tells us that this is a cool place. The child comes out crying, and the illusory energy, oh, mommy, oh, nice. So eventually the child makes you believe that this is me and this is mine, and does everything. He first comes and looks at the hands like, oh, yeah. So many times the child looks at the hands. Everyone. Isn't right or wrong? right? They look at the hand and they look, oh, what is this? Where I have come from? Huh? And the people are in a bliss because the child is born, but the child is remembering still, and he's just crying. And thus gradually he feels the temporary joy and satisfaction through the milk and the happiness and the love which he gets, and that is actually replaces what he's looking for. Hari. And eventually, as he say, me, mom, 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 first the child will play with the toys, and then he grows big, he has the big toys, like big car. And the child starts with a small car, he grows up, he gets 18, 19, he gets a bigger toy, big car, isn't it? And he keeps acquiring different toys of this world. And thus, actually, this different toys and different things in this world we try and acquire. As soon as we acquire, Dhruva Maharaj says, it is like broken pieces of glasses. That's what we acquire. And the more you grab the broken pieces of glasses, what happens? More tightly you grab, what happens? You get cut and you get pain and you start bleeding. That's exactly how the material world acts. Eventually, when we are young, we do not realize it, how much painful the old age is. I know one of the Prabhupada disciples and through our relatives also, they just can't walk. Just what we think natural, just changing the dress, it's so natural for us. You go out, change the dress. For them, they have to think, oh my God, I have to change the dress. Just to cut a nail, with the nail cutter, it's a process. It's a process for them. We don't realize it. When we're going to go to body, when body is going to be old, what do we have to go through? We, as a young person, you may not even realize it. So the thing is, and when we are young also, there's so much, the faith in which we have in some relationship, especially and children or loved ones and everything, eventually things will go, it can change. And eventually someone has to leave also. So the thing is, there is a much pain than joy. Just like having you have a fingers, and if the fingers are nice, how much joyful you feel? Do you feel joyful? My fingers are working. Oh no, you don't feel. Who cares? Who cares? You don't even realize you have fingers. But if they're cut, if there's a pass, how much pain it will cause. But do you think that if this thing goes away, you feel great ecstasy? Normal finger. Ecstasy, everyone, I have normal finger. Do you feel like that? No. Who cares? It's a part of your body. Who cares? But if it is cut, then you realize it. So the pain is there, but it's hidden. As soon as you get cut, boom, it manifests. So the thing is, the soul doesn't, nateshu ramate buddha. The soul doesn't enjoy this. The soul enjoys something which is not part of this world. The soul enjoys something which we are desperately looking, but at the wrong direction, at the wrong place. The soul is part of Krishna. Is like a little boy calling for mother, please, and you give him toys. It's like a davanal for him. It's like all these pleasures are like a fish without water. Prabhupada gave a beautiful example: fish without water, and if you give him a top. You fly him with the charter aeroplane. Fish, yeah, it's your gift. You swam for so long in the river. Come on, I'll take you in a charter water. Fish will. Do you think fish will enjoy? It's like a davanal for the fish. It may be most comfortable situation, right? For you it may be, but for fish it's not. The same way, what appears to be the most comfortable, the most wonderful place for the body, the soul is hankering. And here is the right place you have come to. My dear friends, you believe me, you have traveled. You have traveled 8,400,000 species of life. And finally, you found your destination. River! How fortunate are you? You do not realize all these demigods will come together and simultaneously sing your glories. Yes, this particular soul, this particular soul has finally found you. This is a real yoga. This is Bhakti yoga. This is a connection which we finally found. River! You have traveled so many weeks, so many lifetimes, so many species of life, and finally, Harival, you got to human life, and in that you realized it. You took the first step. How powerful it is. Because the whole material civilization is against you, and you decided to take a revolution. That's why Bhagavatam is actually a revolution. It means a revolution in the material life. You declared boldly that I'm going to declare a war against you. Do whatever you like. I'm going to the center. I'm going to charge the whole civilization against you. And you're doing the right thing for the soul. We were discussing, if you're not with the association of devotees, we were discussing, immediately you feel like, oh my God, you're drained. You feel like you don't have to work hard for it. You have to work hard to feel out of, dumb and dull and everything. You don't have to, because of you're into the civilization. But you're walking against. You may have to go through the karshana. You may have to go through a little bit resistance. But when you walk one step, Krishna is going to take 100 steps towards you. Once you chant the holy name, there's a guaranteed your spiritual life has begun and nobody can stop it. It may get covered. As soon as you become devotee, the procrastination hits you. The lethargy hits you. And thus the Maya convinces you, don't worry, these guys are crazy. No, I know better than them. The Maya convinces you. Yes, don't worry. Right now is not your time. Right now is time to enjoy. I was telling my sister, if we really want to enjoy, if we really want to enjoy material life, think about some enjoyment, what you like, whatever. You don't have to tell me in public. Think about whatever. But if you consider that enjoyment, for example, eating, the animals, they can eat for a long time. And they will have a same taste buds as you are enjoying. And they will have for prolonged time. They can keep eating all day. But if you keep all day, you will fall sick. Right? If you want to have sex, then you can be a pigeon. And you can have sex 38 times. If you try it also, oh my God, you'll die. 38 times a day, oh my God. Huh? So human life is not designed to enjoy the pleasures which we are seeking. It is available to animals. It's only exclusively and only meant for, this is revolutionary statement against the laws of material world. It is meant for self-realization. Human life is exclusively meant for. I might say, he's crazy. Human life, enjoy. What is this self-realization? But self-realization gives you the real enjoyment of the soul. And thus you feel like the shower coming from the cloud. Hariyol, and all your fire around it is suddenly extinguished when the soul starts enjoying. Ghana, Ghana, Tvam. Oh my God, it is so beautiful. It's like a rain. You're just dancing in a rain of happiness, eternally, joyfully, forever. Hariyol. Who doesn't like to be in that rain? Huh? And your body, mind, and soul is, everything is enjoying. So is it not a joyful place? Is it not the real place? Is it not the most safe and secure place? Is it not what we have been looking for all these times? You know, I was just reading today article that the biggest problem in America right now is the finding people for work. I might say so much unemployment. The biggest shortage is going on. So what they are doing is they are actually making sure, even though people have drug, it depends on which drug you are taking. If you're taking some kind of XYZ drug, oh, you're still welcome because we don't have people. This is the problem. Now, you might say that why people go through that kind of thing, even though how many people knows that this drug is horrible thing in this world, it will not even give you the job and everything, still want to go into that. Why people do that? You know why? Because they are soul, and the soul wants to have pleasure. And that pleasure is not in a material world. And that when they take it, they think that they are out of this material world. They don't care outside surrounding. So what does it mean? That means that the soul is searching for the happiness beyond drugs. The drug is this dirty materialistic ways of very nasty way of finding. So it remains for some time and just go. It just beyond, you can stay high. So if you actually taste the sweetness of the holy name, you will never go down and you will never taste because you will feel disgusted. But unless you don't have, you will try to grab all this rotten pizza stored in dirty trash cans. You're trying to lift, and that's like trying to find happiness in the material. It's a rotten pizza trash with a green a fungus on top. You're in the fresh pizza. So this is the condition of a soul, of this soul in this material body. So therefore, it is absolutely important. In fact, we can declare emergency right now. Now, I'm not joking. The kind of civilization that's happening right now, it's an emergency right now. Everyone must take up spiritual life, otherwise they are going to be drained, because the consciousness which is cultivated by the mass distraction is going to get them to the most degraded place in the world. So this is the emergency. I wish to tell on the CNN and BBC, British broadcast, whatever, and all this world channel, we should be broadcasting emergency. This emergency. This is the soul's greatest need at this time. Please help, everyone. Please chant the holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now, you might think that this guy has gone crazy, but not. I'm just telling what the scriptures are telling. The whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a battlefield where there's emergency. The battlefield, nobody goes there. Battlefield. Let's go for strong. Bullets are passing. Do you go for strong? Do you think any soldier will go for an evening walk on the battlefield? Nobody will go for, or just having a candlelight dinner on the battlefield. Oh no! Oh my God! Battlefield, the bullets are coming. You're just ducking. One of our friends, he's a devotee. His name is Partha Sarthi Prabhu. He's a disciple of Prabhu. And I was staying in Washington with him many years ago. So he was telling, he was actually taking the Ratha Yatra when the bullets were going in this thing, and he was, how dare you could do that? So this is a protection. And he was chanting of the holy name, and all his soldiers, they were amazed to see him. He's so blissful in the middle of the fire happening in Iraq at that time, and there were so many things were happening, and he's having Hare Krishna. Huh? Ratha Yatra. Thank you. Ratha Yatra. Huh? So now you can realize that just in this simple battlefield that you are taking, so material world will always tell you one thing. Please listen this very attentively. It will always tell you one thing. Your mind will tell you always one thing. You know what? Can you guess? Yes? Can you guess?
I need this. I need what I want.
That is, I'm talking in general, material world, not for devotees, but material world, it will tell you for one thing.
Everything's okay.
Everything okay. Everything is okay. Huh? It will tell you, don't worry, you don't have to take this intensely. You don't have to take it seriously. Just relax. Everything okay. Just relax. And just take it when you grow old. Not now. This is not the time. You know, you have so much life. You have first career. You have so many things. So many things. Even today, I'm above 50, but I still feel that so many responsibilities are still there. And if I go 70 plus also, I will actually feel there are so many other responsibilities are still there. So the mind will never tell you it's the right time right now. It will always tell you this is not the right time. She'll take whole life you can be a devotee. Whole life. Huh? All I need is a 1 second. All I need is just a little bit, 1 second. And then she will take 10 seconds, then 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, 10 days, year, few years, and the whole life. God. That's how I've seen it with my own eyes. This is how Maya works. This is a practical demonstration of she makes it feel like, relax, man, relax. You stay and have good time. Now, it doesn't mean that material relationships are mundane. You don't have to be a great sannyasi or give up everything. The Arjuna was a householder. He wasn't really a renunciate. The real art is to stay in the household, but you still become Krishna. Just like a lotus flower. That's why we give so much importance to lotus flower, because lotus flower is all about Krishna consciousness condensed in all the teachings of Krishna consciousness is in the lotus flower. That's why our emblem is also lotus flower. Now, what is this lotus flower? What does it do? It grows in a most muddy place, and it is not affected by any of the mud. There's a water you pour as much as you can, but the lotus flower will actually take the water out. Am I right or wrong? Please tell me. Yes or no? And that is our emblem. That is what we talk about. Our life should be like the lotus flower. Even though we stay in this material world, we are in this world, but not of this world. Hariva. Huh? Bhaktivinoda Thakur has actually described how wonderful. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we had this disappearance 2 days ago. And then he has actually showed he had the 12 children or more. But he led such a beautiful life that he's our guru. Can you imagine? All the sannyasis guru is a householder. Wow, isn't that wonderful? And he led a beautiful life as High Court magistrate. He had such a clarity in his work that a British government had a railway around from his house to where he was working. Can you imagine putting a railway just for you? How clear your mind must be, how important that person must be at that time. Huh? And when he appeared, that time the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely disarrayed, and it had gone to the place where devotee is considered to be not so good person. It was so degraded because there was an apostate Siddhanta, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought it back. In his behavior, he actually found out who is the false guru, one who was actually treating other people from the care and everything, and thus he pretended himself to be a god, and then he said, "There's only one God. This nobody else can be a god," and he exposed him, and he went against the threat of his family getting killed by the mystical black magic he was shot, but he had a faith in God. He said, "Doesn't matter, whatever, I will actually Rakshate Krishna. Krishna will protect me." And he was a great soul, and I would like to speak a lot about him, but I think this class is not suitable for talking about Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but taking the blessings of the great souls, that's what we need. So I only pray at the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur to please bless all of us and show us give us the mercy and show us the path in which we can actually make progress in spiritual life. So taking blessings of the great souls, we make so much advancement. That's the reason why we come together, because together we can attract the mercy of the Lord. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Now we'll begin. I'm sorry, I forgot to read the Bhagavad Gita. I'm not going to be so mean. But are there any questions or comments, please? I would like to read one shloka because Prabhupada will want to honor him. But before that, if there is any question. No question. Okay, Hare Krishna. Maybe comments later. So we'll read from 2.14. We'll just read the shloka and the translation and then we'll end. Is that okay? I won't speak again.
Is that one that Prabhu mentioned? Is that one that Prabhu mentioned?
I think he was wanted to speak from 2.17, I guess.
I think in the WhatsApp he said 2.70.
Oh, 2.70?
I think that's what he said.
Okay, so let us continue what he was wanted. Oh, it's a very nice verse. Hare Krishna. So 2.70, if you like to put it on your phone or whatever, that's fine. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti ava tadvat karmayam pravishanti sarve sashantimapnoti na karma kami. Translation. Please repeat. A person who is not disturbed by incessant flow of desire that enters like a river into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but is always still, can alone achieve the peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Powerful. Please read the purport, please. Purport by its divine grace.
Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy season, being filled with much more water. But the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. That is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the rivers that flow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities, and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is the proof of a Krishna conscious man, one who has lost all inclinations for material sense gratification, although the desires are present. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady, like the ocean, and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who fulfill desires even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. The prudent workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis who are after mystic powers are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of the Lord, and he has no desires to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from the so-called material bondage. The devotees of Krishna have no material desires, and therefore they are in perfect peace.
Hare Krishna. How many people believe in this? What we just said? Please raise your hands. Yes. Okay. Now, what do we understand first? This is very important. What do we understand from this?
Desires for sense gratification never end. They always be here. Desire.
Okay.
So that Krishna is always going to provide for his devotees. That the desire may still be there, but they will be able to control this many supply.
Wonderful. What do you think, Jivya? Oh, that's fine. Anything? Anyone else wants to volunteer? Yes?
Desires will come and go. The person who is Krishna conscious is not affected by that.
Yes. So if somebody comes and slaps me, do you think I will not be affected? I will be. I think somebody comes and spits at me. Do you think I will not be affected? I will be. So what do you mean by not? That means, yeah. Yes, but sometimes desire does come in devotee's life also. Do you think how one responds? Respond. It's not that all the devotees are constantly in bliss, ecstasy, constantly tears coming out of the eyes, hair standing on end, and you're just walking at the work, ecstatic symptoms are showing. You won't be able to preach, yes? It's not common situation. Desire does come to you. But the thing is how you respond. But and then eventually you come out of it. But that is much later. But it's not that it doesn't get affected. The thing is, that's why we need association. we need to hear and chant, and our mind and intelligence become sharpened. So when does some effect of some things happen, we take shelter of the process of hearing and chanting. Thus we know how to actually respond, and thus eventually it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There was a beautiful story about two monks were actually walking, and one monk was about to cross the river, and he saw a lady. She was really wanted to cross over. She was little elderly. So one monk, he decided to just pick her up to carry across because it was a need. So he carried it and he dropped her on the other side, and they started walking. But the second monk was constantly thinking, oh, he's a monk and he still carrying. So then he asked, this monk thought about, I said, what are you thinking so much? Sir, I don't like, you're taken a vow of celibacy and everything, and you're carrying a lady on your hand. So I said, so what? I just tried to help her. I just dropped her at the shore, but you're still carrying her in your mind. Thing is, actually, it's all in the mind. If our mind, if we have to respond, in different ways, it's the mind may get carried over and get entangled for a very long time. And thus, guys, just like that Narad Muni story. You remember Narad Muni? He wanted to be an illusion, and he got everything, and then he realized, my God, Haribol, where I am. That's a long story. Even the great sages can be bewildered. So the best way is to don't worry how much time you get bewildered. Doesn't matter. That is not important. The best thing you can do is how much time you're willing to get up and walk again. Are you getting it? It's not that the human life is meant for perfection. It's meant for making our attempt to please the Lord. It's the service, not the results of the service. What is in our hand, Bhagavad Gita says, you can try, but the results are in my hands. So don't worry if some things disturbs us right now, or we may not be perfect, or some thoughts, crazy thoughts keep coming. Just keep going. What is important, just keep going. Because all we have is our ability to offer our love for the Lord. Just a little bit as a service we can do whatever. Even Krishna, I'm very fallen, I'm very this thing, but it doesn't matter. I just want to be a devotee. When you make that attempt, when you make that serious attempt and work on hearing and chanting, then even all our life, Apuryamanam, then all these things, then all the desires, everything, you will be able to digest it. You will not be able to, just like if it is a pond, if our heart is like a pond, then any little water will come, it will overflow. But if it is become like an ocean, then you can absorb it. That's why it's called Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Sindhu means ocean. So our heart become oceanic. When we actually associate with devotees, our heart becomes oceanic. And then we can take anything. With the association of devotees, chanting of the holy name, it does work, 100% guarantee. But we have to actually make an attempt to do service to the Lord, and don't get bothered by this. Don't get affected by this. That's what this particular verse means. Do not have to worry. I promised that I wouldn't speak for a long time, but I did. I'm sorry. But I think this verse is so beautiful. We can give a separate class just on this verse. It's really beautiful. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna. Is there anything you would not add or something? Please feel free. Or comments?
I have a question. What is consciousness? So,
Consciousness?
yeah, so like, how do we describe it?
Consciousness is a symptom of soul. Prabhupada says consciousness is a symptom of soul. So when we are conscious, we are conscious. We know. But what we need to know is we have to be Krishna conscious. Right now, what is happening is I conscious. I'm very iPhone, everything, I conscious. That's why we like iPhones, I conscious. We, when we go in a market, we think that everybody is looking at me. Nobody is looking at you, but it's just a soul, spirit soul is thinking like that. False ego thinks like that. Everybody is looking at me right now. So the thing is, the consciousness has been embodied, so that's why it's called embodied soul. So when we become conscious about who we really are, and try to meditate on the Supreme Lord within us and in everyone's heart, then we become real conscious. Then even though consciousness in this body leaves, you'll be conscious of Krishna. So it's very important. That means that we have to put our mind in the Krishna. That's we have to train our mind. We may be conscious, but our mind is unconscious right now. We may be conscious of our body, but unconscious of real self. So that's why the real consciousness is that when we understand, and this reminder is there, somehow or other, I have to just chant the holy name of Krishna. And when you chant, actually, it's the more and more you become conscious of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So consciousness is basically awareness of Krishna, or it could be of mind. So that's why it is our fortune that we come in an assembly of people who are conscious of Krishna. That's the one of the reasons when we need to read Bhagavatam, just like Maharaj Parikshit, and here we become more conscious. Because the consciousness of other people also will affect us if we are not conscious of Krishna. You know what? It has the association of what consciousness of people you actually associate, that you get that consciousness, directly or indirectly. Have you all noticed this fact? If you associate with what consciousness of people you are with around, you get subtly at least some % of consciousness, you get it. Yes or no? Yeah. So that's why it's very important to have some nice satsang, to have sanity of mind. Otherwise, we can become Brahma sitting at home thinking we know the next. Right? So that's a good question. Thank you. Anything else? I'm sorry, I'm not a good replacement for Kalpana. But I've been put on the spot, so I didn't prepare anything, or neither I had anything in my mind today. So please forgive me for unprepared class today. Hare Krishna.
So then, like desire, so speaking of desire, so consciousness is just like awareness. So we can think of like a desire just being like a little bubble, or like just like something in general, just kind of popping into like our awareness, and then It's like how they're responding.
Yeah, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyate Vishyan Punsa Sangot Sanjayate Kama. Dhyate Vishyan Punsa Sangot Sanjayate Kama. Kamat Krodha Pajayate Krodha Bhavati Samohat Samohat Smriti Vibra Smriti Vibra Buddhi Nasha Buddhi Nasha Pranasha. It all begins with contemplating on a sense object. That's what happened to Ajamin. He just saw something and he was bewildered and he just ran behind. And thus that his consciousness was in a goodness, not completely goodness. But when he saw a beautiful scene of on that thing, immediately his consciousness changed. His mind became more attracted to the sense object. And thus he went behind and destroyed his life. So consciousness is that what it's the same as the mind, which is contemplate on the sense object. Your whole aware, you become, when the mind becomes so attached, your whole thing, your consciousness becomes covered in that object which you are thinking. The mind goes and makes it attached, and your whole consciousness is constantly thinking about that object of sense gratification. Does that happen? Yes. Sometimes it happens that when you are traveling in some railway or anything, if it is whatever is most dear to us, the mind will go in that. If you're carrying $100,000 in the wallet, you'll always think, oh my God, 100,000, your mind will be wrapped around the bag briefcase because there's 100,000 there. Whatever you're thinking of. Hare Krishna.
And so Prabhupada tells us to just think of like Krishna's name, form, or
and yes, when we chant the holy name, when we it reveals the form and the paraphernalia and the pastimes. It's like a flower which blooms. So it all begins with the holy name. So it's slowly you start thinking. One day one of the sannyasi came to our house. Bhakti, I think Bhakti Sundar Goswami Maharaj. So he went for walk and I asked him, how was the walk? He said, I was just meditating on the pastimes of Krishna. Whoa! I said, wow! When he was walking, when we walk, who cares? We don't meditate on a pastime of Krishna. But as you grow higher and higher in the consciousness, you actually start meditating on beautiful pastimes of the Lord and beautiful paraphernalia and so many things. And that gives so much solace. And it's not necessary that you have to be renounced or you could be married, you could be in whatever situation. It's all external. What's in the mind, that's important. So as we advance the more and more in spiritual life, we become more and more conscious. Initial times of our frustration, our mind, gopis had a hard time forgetting Krishna, and we are having a hard time remembering Krishna. So that's why we need to follow regulated process. Because if we think that when we hear gopis and everything, we think, oh, we are also at that stage. But we have to understand that we are not at that stage. We are still very fallen. Because you can take inventory during the day how much time you remember Krishna. That much you can know how advanced are we. You can just make a notebook and think during the day, how many times I intensely remember Krishna, and you will know where you stand. And the other thing is when the lust, anger, and greed or anything that attacks you, how much we get bewildered and what do you take shelter of? Then that is, and you don't have to tell this to anyone. You can make a note and just see how where we stand in spiritual life. And even though it comes, it doesn't matter where we take shelter, how fast we can come out of it. So this may be a litmus paper test for us to understand where we stand in our spiritual life. How much time we remember Krishna during the day, and how we can respond to provocative situations in the life.
Yeah, I think Ryan has something to report on that. He said, what defines a man, what defines a man or something, or like, he said it depends on that
How
he's
you
still,
respond.
how the ability for him to hold his character in hard times.
Yes.
So it's like very true.
And that is so nice. If we train our mind, even though we are working, if there's some emergency come, we can remain quiet and calm. So it helps in our material life also, this ability to respond. You can be a better person in material life. Because I just had last week, somebody, some vice president came and blasted me like anything at work. He put me on the spot and I was asking questions. And I was really angry, that first of all, he got his 10 people's team from offshore. And he said, now you do what? And I wasn't prepared for that kind of thing. And he put me on the spot. Imagine his 10 under his, and I'm the only person, and they're all judging me on the meeting as if I'm interviewing. I said, he just made me mad in a sense, but I didn't say anything. I just, later on, I said, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that you're going to be doing this in a meeting. So the thing is, if I would have, I said, you rascal, what do you what do you think of me? I said, I'm not reporting to you. You may be vice president of this and that. I could have just but he was, the thing is, the way he was responding, it was very dirty way. Then I could understand this person's mind is not clear. He doesn't understand. He's so attached to what he's doing. And then I remember, Prabhupada, thank you, because I could respond to that situation so nicely. I didn't get angry. I didn't put one bad word. I don't put any bad words to anyone, but I didn't become angry and respond in an angry way. And then I thanked Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. If I would have probably lost my job or something. So this does help in your real life also. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's not something, and in our last moment, it is the most bewildering situation you will be. Last few moments of our life, it's the most bewildering situation. And that's where you will learn to respond. Krishna will give you remembrance. Oh, Mata Smurti Jnanam Apohanamcha. Thank you, Prabhupada. He will give us the remembrance of Krishna when you need it. Mata Smurti Jnanam Apohanamcha 15.15. He gives us a remembrance and forgetfulness of His holy name. Vedesha Sarve Rame Vedev Vedanta Krudve Davideva Sham. That's the exact sloka. So it's really, we are grateful. The more you practice, the more you get prepared in day-to-day activity. And when the final moment comes, just like Maharaj Parikshit, when the bird was coming to destroy him, the final thing, the bird was hissing. Imagine the whole bird. Big, gigantic snake bird is coming with the fire. Just think, you are there and the bird is coming from the sky to destroy you. The final imminent death is coming in Maharaj Parikshit. You are seeing it. And what a response. Wow. He was ecstatic. He was blissful. He just closed his eyes and meditated on Supreme Lord when the Takshat was actually, engulfing him. His whole body is getting destroyed. And he's thinking about God. Just like Dhritarashtra. Oh my God, cut my neck. For 1,000 years he was cutting, Indra was cutting his neck. Imagine if you get little cut, how much you will feel. 1,000 years. Oh, sorry, not 1,000. 1 whole year. This is 1,000 here. There's 1 year of there. He's actually cutting his neck. He was cutting his neck. Indra was cutting Vritrasu's thick neck. It was a human body. And he was saying, cut my neck. I will remember Krishna. You will get the position of a king of a heaven, and I will go back to Calcutta. What a consciousness, man. This is called preparation. This is called preparation. That's what we are looking for. We are actually getting prepared here. Huh? So this is beautiful, Prabhu. This is just amazing. The more I've been in movement for the last 30 years, the more I try to know about it, the more I feel I don't deserve this. I'm not qualified to be in the world. It's so sublime. It's so wonderful. It's such a gifted. It's such a wonderful gift for the whole world. And I see the result. I see the possessed body coming out of the holy name. Can you imagine? Can anyone do that? We chant nursing of prayers and everything. I see the possessed bodies. The ghost can come out of the possessed body. I see it with my own eyes. Is there anyone who has the power to do? Any materialistic scientist has the power to do this? Show me. Nobody has the power to do this except the holy name. This is just a byproduct. We don't even worry about all that stuff. Huh? This holy name just gives us so much love for Krishna and eternal service. Radha Krishna Pranamo Yugala Kishore. I think it's just Bhakti. I think it's Narottam Das Thakur, Radha Krishna Pranamo. I'm not sure. Yeah. Huh? Narottam Das, yes. Yeah. So he wrote a beautiful, so many songs which we sing every day. Jiva Jaya 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 Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Such a beautiful example we have. Here, all his songs are, all the Vaishnava songs, most of it is coming from Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Narottam Das Thakur. These two great acharyas. So such wonderful examples, such a beautiful culture, and such faithful. You can deliver all your ancestors. Can you imagine anywhere else you can deliver your ancestors? Tell me any process you can probably deliver yourself, not your 21 gen, not your ancestry. Show me anything which will deliver all your ancestry coming up and going down. Because Krishna is so joyful and grateful for person becoming devotees. Bhakti, he will give you liberation, but he will not give you devotion. Devotion is so powerful that he becomes your servant. Wow. It's so amazing. It's so beautiful. And we get access by mercy of Srila Prabhupada to enter into that pond of devotion. He has made us the pond, not the waterfall of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He made that waterfall into a pond where we can easily enter. Otherwise, if we try to go and experience what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing, we'll die. We'll die next. In 1 second, we will not be able to absorb it because it's so high. But Srila Prabhupada made that into a pond. Oh my God. And we can access this easily, huh? Thank you very much for coming together. And maybe, is there anything else? Anyone else? Any other question? Okay, so we can take prasadam. Is that okay? If it is ready. Maybe 2 hours from now. So we'll take food right now. Just give us 5 minutes, and I hope you are having. I didn't go to your. What's your name again? Abby.
No.
Are you okay? Are you having a good time? You survived. Hare Krishna. It's the first time here? Yes. Thank you for coming. Do you have any questions? You have very good company. Jiv Jago is a very nice devotee. He's a very nice person also. Yes. You want to sing? To sing? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Bo. Hare Bo. Hare Bo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,